When the 2023 NBA draft happened, everyone thought the San Antonio Spurs would dominate the league. I mean, why wouldn't they? They had acquired the services of Victor Wembanyama, who has what it takes to be a generational talent. So how come they're losing so many games? Hello and welcome back to NBA Swish. Today we're going to be talking about how the San Antonio Spurs are completely embarrassed. I know what you all must be wondering. What are they embarrassed about? Is it really fair that everyone expects them to be so good after drafting just one player? And how can they become competitive again? Well, stick around till the end as we answer these questions and more, as we delve into the various intricacies surrounding Wemby and the Spurs. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. It's not like the San Antonio Spurs have not seen success before. There was a time when they were a force to be reckoned with. In fact, they're one of the most successful teams in recent times, having won the championship 5 times since 1999. And thanks to the likes of people like Tim Duncan, they've always been blessed with amazing picks in the draft, who have almost every time led them to a championship. However, this time around, they find themselves in the midst of a challenging season. Despite the initial excitement of getting a generational talent like Victor Wembanyama, the hype has slowly quieted down. Overall, the hype and expectations surrounding the team have kind of dwindled, and the disappointment is palpable. But we got to take a look beyond that. Let's analyze the reasons behind the Spurs' struggles, focusing on their offensive inefficiencies and defensive shortcomings. While some of these might seem straightforward, I feel you might be surprised to hear about a few of them. So first things first, let's focus on their main issue, offensive woes. Did you know that the Spurs currently rank 25th in points per game? That is kind of crazy. A significant part of this struggle lies in their inability to score efficiently. Now, that may seem obvious, but trust me, when you see their games, you'll understand why they struggle with scoring. Even their star rookie, Victor Wembanyama, often hailed as the team's go-to scorer, has faced criticism for his shot selection. And, well, he's a rookie, so of course he will. Sure, he's a phenomenal talent with skills in dribbling, defending, and rebounding, but he is not perfect. Compared to his European days, when he was known as one of the most dominant European youth players ever, his efficiency has taken a hit in the NBA. Did you realize that he's shooting just 27% from 3 and under 43% from the field? And that's not all, because his penchant for contested fadeaways has become a source of frustration at times. But truth be told, those are decent numbers for a rookie. I won't go as far as actually roasting him, because truth be told, at the end of the day, he's just a rookie, and he's going to need a lot more experience to harness that God-gifted talent of his. The point I wanted to make is that he isn't like the cheat code that all Spurs fans thought he was. And the team really should consider an overhaul of more talented players if they really want to bring back their glory days. I will say one thing about him, though. A lot of people have been defending him, albeit a decent but not so crazy start to his NBA career, by arguing that Wembanyama doesn't receive enough touches. I'm sure a lot of you probably think the same. However, the numbers tell a different story. In fact, he actually takes more shots than anyone else on the team. Surprising? Moreover, his lack of consistency and poor shot selection has led to teammates' reluctance to pass him the ball. This has created a challenging dynamic to the team when he's on the floor. It's no wonder he's been getting fewer minutes considering the hype around him. However, I am absolutely sure he will improve as he gains more experience. And on the other hand, however, if they remove him, they might be more efficient, but still they lack the numbers to win. For example, Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, though efficient in their scoring, aren't the big-time scorers that strike fear in opponents during crucial moments. Wemby at least gives you an advantage in that regard. However, it's also true that Johnson's field goal attempts have decreased with Wemby's arrival. This isn't surprising since he's their star talent on the team, but things are changing around there. Sure, Johnson still remains a solid 3-level scorer, but the team needs more offensive firepower. In my opinion, Keldon Johnson should be traded. Vassell, on the other hand, has maintained efficiency, shooting 39% from 3 and 48% from the field. He still has the potential to improve and can become even better in the future, forming a formidable partnership with Wemby. However, neither Johnson nor Vassell has emerged as a go-to clutch scorer. They're going to need someone who controls the perimeter while Wemby continues to destroy defenses around the post. Overall, it must be said that the Spurs have struggled on offense. They were expected to thrive in transition, and that simply hasn't happened. And the team's poor three-point shooting compounds their offensive woes, making it challenging to put points on the board consistently. As you can imagine, if they want to bring back their glory days and win the championship again, they're going to need to really amp up their offense. And now let's talk about the other end of the court. I'm talking defense. And you might think that since they're struggling offensively, their team might be better defensively. But no, that is definitely not the case. The defensive end presents another set of challenges for the Spurs. Sure, Wemby, Sohan, and Vassell are good defenders. In fact, Wemby is really good. And the fact that he leads the league in blocks per game tells you how crucial he's been for the Spurs' otherwise lackluster defense. offense. The others, however, lack the elite status needed to anchor a robust defense. Sohan, while a versatile defender, faces challenges against the league's best due to limitations in foot speed and mobility. Sure, he has the potential to be an amazing defender, but he really needs to up his game if he wants to solidify his place on this team. And while they do lack individually, what they lack as a team might be worse. Did you realize that something as simple as communication breakdowns plague the Spurs defense, hindering their ability to create an impenetrable wall of solidarity? This goes on to show how their lack of experience on the court plays a role in their defense too. And this goes for other defensive tactics too. The art of the closeout, rebounding, and overall defensive communication are areas where this team falls drastically short. These are pretty much basic concepts that everyone should know, and this team really should know how to apply them to their games. And it's really astonishing how the team is struggling with rebounding both offensively and defensively. You would think that having a giant like Wemby would be enough, but he simply hasn't been. This again adds another layer to their defensive woes. There's a lot of people out there saying that defensive freedom should be the way for this young Spurs squad. However, I disagree. This squad needs something else, and defensive freedom is not the best strategy in a day and age when teams are so disciplined. While freedom is essential, a balance must be struck to avoid defensive gambles that compromise the team's structure. I am sure that slowly and with experience, this team will be able to adopt such discipline, especially with Coach Pop at the helm. But now let's get to what I'm sure all Spurs fans have been waiting for. What should the Spurs do right now to improve their situation? Should the Spurs make a move to salvage the season or focus on building for the future? Realistically, there might not be a single move that transforms them into playoff contenders. I don't think they need to go for superstars right now. They don't even have a player big enough to trade for someone that big right now. Micro moves, in my opinion, which are designed to pay off in the coming seasons, might be the wisest approach. Let's take a look at the players they could go for in order to bolster their squad. Exploring free agency in the offseason could be the way to go, with players like Markelle Fultz who could bolster the roster. I wouldn't say he's the best recruitment, but still, he will help improve this Spurs roster. The team could also go for highly experienced veterans like Chris Paul, who could help groom the young players and become the best version of themselves. That move could be really worth it in the end. And of course, as of right now, they're going to hold a very high draft pick, so they could draft another young superstar to go alongside Wemby. The San Antonio Spurs face critical decisions that'll shape this team's future. Whether they choose to make calculated moves or ride out the storm, the journey continues for this storied franchise. Right now, however, they are being embarrassed. But don't worry, they'll be back. Fingers crossed for what the future holds for this young yet promising team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.